Morning, everyone. It's 8:45, and it's time for your pre-opening comment. It's ugly. No other way to put it. Bullard from St. Louis was on CNBC talking about the Fed. He is a non-voting member, so he really has nothing to say at the meeting, but he is expounding on the fact that the economy is stronger, that the Fed will have to raise rates in 22, not 23, kind of a foregone conclusion after yesterday, and the fact that stimulus is not necessary and that inflation is greater than expected. All of those things you've heard here for 6 months. I moved towards the commodities because of the inflation almost a year ago, and all of my work shows that, especially the market insights. It's why there are 7 or 8 commodity futures charts as charts with comments through there. So he started speaking about here, down about $5 in the S&Ps. This is an intraday chart. So yesterday, we were down hard in the morning and we came all the way back up. And as I said, we closed, okay in this area. This is this morning. This is where he started to speak. This is where he stopped speaking. We've recovered somewhat, about $8 or $9, and that puts the S&P down $29. So it was down as much as about 40. The Dow, we'll take a look at that, and the Nas. Dow futures, which had a little fair value in them, and were down between 80 and 100. Same time in here, 33,570, 33,300 at the low. Coming back a little, up about $100 off the low, and that still puts it down 300. And the NASDAQ, let's see, currently futures down about 70, but there's also some fair value involved there. The NASDAQ futures are down about 85. Same situation. So you see it's been a pretty ugly morning, certainly since Bullard started to speak. We do have a little bit of a bounce in the gold here after this devastating move from, let's go back to the daily charts. This devastating move from 1900 down to last night's low, 1767. So $140 move. 8%, pardon me, let's call it 7%. 7% in 1, 2, 3, 4 days. That's tremendous. And last but not least, I'm going to show you the dollar, which is up another 20 cents today. Explosive. Nice base crossover here. In the grand scheme of things, I will show you it's still a lower low. And let's take it out here a little. We're running right into the 50-day moving average. This is the 100, this is the 200. So things are still looking lower. It's really trying on a technical basis. It's had the blow-off, series of lower highs, but this is an interesting double bottom. And, I could see us getting to 94. And in the grand scheme of things, that would still be pretty close to a lower high. This high is 93.47, so 93 and a half. We're still pretty much a long way from there, especially when you see how the daily ranges tend to be versus even weekly ranges tend to be, including this week that has a range of well over 2%, 2.5% move this week, which is pretty unusual for the dollar. And one last chart. Let's take a quick look at the bonds, which rallied pretty hard this week, last couple of days. Let's take a quick look there. Last couple of days broke to the downside slightly off, again, relatively lower highs, came back down, rallied right back up into it on the Fed news, and this is the aftermath of the rate decision, which was a non-decision again, but after the press conference. So we'll see how all this goes. As far as other news, ATHA Life Sciences, a psychedelic microdosing company, originally backed by Peter Thiel from PayPal, one of the founders of PayPal, doing probably the biggest IPO in the group, $2.3 billion at about $17. Last night, Adobe beat top and bottom. The stock was trading around $551, which was up about $10. This morning, trading $570. So another 19 higher than that. The stock is net ahead 1864, 3.4%. Biogen IDEC upgraded over at Piper Sandler to outperform from market perform, and it is 390, up 647. It's hard to find any up here, but there are a couple more. SYKE, SYKE, being bought by Citel Group, paying $54 a share, and the stock is trading just under that. Same thing, CAI, a buy by Mitsubishi at 56, 1.1 billion, trading right under that, 54 3/4 or so. And we have ATHA. This is a biotech, came public in September of 2020, so last September. The stock has lived in the range of 16 to 34. Closed yesterday around $18. Just last week, as high as 24. Currently trading $10.45, and that's down $7.79 or 43% on the news that the chief operating officer is taking over running the company from the CEO. And it's kind of a strange announcement because it says that the previous CEO will remain on the board, and that the question is, and it hasn't been clarified, put on temporary leave as board reviews action stemming from doctoral research while at Washington State University. That's all it says. This is a company that has been working on a small molecule that helps regain memory. So the implications of that are pretty extreme. Also, we have Citi. The financials in general are weaker this morning. All of them down. Goldman, after being down yesterday, down 4. JP Morgan down another $1. The biggest mover, though, of late has been Citi. And I'm just going to make the comparison. I know that clearly it is not a valid comparison except for technical issues. Citi is down in the last 12 days from a high just under 80 to where it currently is right now at 68 and a half, 68.48, no, 68 and a half. And this is 12 down days in a row, including yesterday down 260 or 3.6%. And the news here has been that it looks like their second quarter trading volume, and I've mentioned this a couple of times, second quarter trading volume could be down 30%. So on a technical basis, 12 down days in a row. The reason I bring it up is because of the oil chart. And I know you can't really compare Citi to oil, but I'm going to anyway, only because the oil chart was 15 days in a row with higher intraday highs every day until 72.99. And then in one day, yesterday, it was as low as 69.77. As I said, it's down a little today, 76 cents, back in the 70 and a quarter area. The only reason I mention it is because these things tend to bounce or decline, whichever is appropriate, after these long moves. Sometimes it's a bottom or a top, but they definitely move when they get out of hand. And as much as I don't want to recommend Citi, not crazy about them, I would be wary of a very crowded trade in Citi to the downside. So I'm going to guess that we're going to get a little bounce. Okay, the Dow now down 262, S&P down 23, so that's come back about 30%, and the NASDAQ down 51.70. So we are bouncing a little after the Bullard news. Not going to tell you that it's going to be a blow off to the downside. It may not. But I am going to tell you to watch that Citi. If you're short or you own puts, be aware. It may be time to take a profit. And if not, you may want to play it for a bounce with something very short term. Have a good morning, everyone.